And that's the game. Serious, I was literally just watching up until the 124. Jalen Milroe completely chokes the game away for Alabama, and it really goes to show and shuts me up for someone who really believed in Jalen Milroe. I came on this mic and told you, watch out for Jalen Milroe. He's going to be a Heisman finalist, as well as probably the most explosive player in Alabama because of the lack of immense talent that they have after losing a bunch, transfer portal, yada, yada, yada. And I sit here with a 5-2 Alabama team who lost to Vanderbilt in a disgusting Tennessee team, and I can't look at you in the face anymore. First off, appreciate y'all watching these videos. Leave a like this video if you like it. Dislike if you don't like it. Subscribe if you enjoy college football content, man. I got to rant for a second. Before we get into the content, before we get into the box score and things of that nature, I just have to talk about Jalen Milroe. I got on here and lied to y'all. I told y'all Jalen Milroe was becoming a better passer, which he has, and he has been able to. I told you he was going to be explosive with his feet, and he has been able to. And then I told you he's going to be able to rise and finish the big games, and he has in one particular circumstance. No other time has he done that this season. You come off of, let me just show you, because the issue here is that this is an unraveling. This isn't just, oh, they lost to Vanderbilt and it was a bad game after beating Georgia. No. It started in the Georgia game. And I'm not talking about Jalen Milroe anymore. I'm talking about the Alabama team as a whole. It starts at the second half of the Georgia game when you're up 7,000 points and you let Georgia come back and take the lead at one point in the fourth quarter. It starts there. Then from there, off the high of barely escaping that game, you go in the bet against Vandy. Okay, cool. And then against South Carolina of all teams, you go in there and you go down to the wire. You go down to the wire with a South Carolina team who isn't even sure their quarterback can be their starting quarterback right now. And then you end up losing to the Tennessee team with a throwing game that's so lethargic. And we're going to get on Nico because I don't like what I see from Nico much more than I don't like what I see from Jalen Milroe. And that's my fault for hyping up Nico in the way that I did. Before we get to that, shout out to my man Gaston Moore. He threw one pass. He came in for one. He came in for one play when Nico got injured, immediately threw a pick. Golly. That kid's got balls. He's going places. Y'all, hey, that's called confidence, ladies and gentlemen. But let's unravel it. Let's itemize this list, and let's talk about what we need to talk about. I got my mini rant off. Let's organize this a little bit. Okay, first things first, let's talk about this win and what it means for each team. After that, I'm going to go ahead and take a steaming pile on Nico because I've given enough to Jalen Milroe. And no, switch it around. Talk about what this means, then take another steaming pile on this team, this Alabama team, who was effectively knocked out of the playoffs, even though you never know with SEC teams, but is effectively knocked out of the playoffs, who by every count of the imagination is underwhelming at multiple phases of this team. It's a lot of silliness, man. It's a lot of silliness. It's a lot of you shouldn't be happy as an Alabama fan. And I think losing to Vandy, you shouldn't burn the bridges, but losing to Vandy and then making close to SC and then losing to this Tennessee team that is so lethargic that it hurts, that's where lines need to be drawn. So let's talk about this. Like I talked about with Alabama, what does this mean for them? Let's take a peek at this because we're not even getting the game. Y'all saw the game. The game was, I'm just all over the place. I'm disgusted. What does this mean for Alabama? I really hope it means no more playoffs. What we saw, I didn't like it. Jalen Milroe, 25 for 45, 239, 5 average, a touchdown, 2 interceptions, including the game-sealing interception. He just got to the fourth quarter, and it felt like Jalen Milroe just wanted to push the ball down the field just to do it. It didn't seem like he had a rhyme or reason. I don't know. Why did they go for fourth and 22? We're down 3 points, and y'all just give them a field goal by going for it on 4th and 22? Dog. This is a team of a bunch of dudes with a bunch of chips on their shoulder, and that's it. Kalen DeBoer is trying to step out of the shadow of Nick Saban. Jalen Milroe trying to step out of the shadow of being just a quarterback that runs and is not a complete quarterback. Can't be a Heisman NFL guy. Well, y'all are proving everybody right. What we just saw. Jalen Milroe is phenomenal. Jalen Milroe is fantastic. He was phenomenal. He was fantastic. He was lethal in this game, but just came up short in so many places. So many misses. So many odd that first pick on that goal line fade against Ryan Williams. He's just throwing that up. And I get it. Look, the nature of a goal line fade, if y'all aren't, you know what I'm saying, it just football-wise is I'm throwing it to my best guy. But you threw it to their best corner. He snags with that one-hander sanded. Just that's nasty. It's nasty. And that's what I want to say. The plays were great. The decision making I didn't like. There was a lot of passes that were behind, and Jalen Milroe usually makes up with his poor passing, right? I don't want to call it poor, inconsistent passing with enough explosiveness in the passing game to kind of compensate for that. It just wasn't here in this game. I didn't like what I saw from this Alabama team against what again. Let's put this into context though. That is one of the best defensive lines in the nation. Period. So. I don't want to sugarcoat it. I don't want to act like they were just going against Oklahoma or just some scrubs or whatever. Like, shout out Oklahoma. This was the best, if not the best defensive line, if not one of the best defensive lines in the nations. And you could see it. They were whooping on. They were getting Jalen Milroe in some situations. They were putting this offensive line in some situations. That Tennessee defense is the star of the show for holding this Alabama offense, which can be explosive. As inconsistent as it can be, something you can never deny about this offense is that it is explosive. And they were able to live with what they could live with and for the most part, bottle up this offense. And when you take away this offense, like we saw with the Vandy game, this defense is beatable. Now, I didn't think this was the Tennessee offense to do it, right? Shout out Dylan Sampson, 26 carries for 139 yards. That dude needs to be sliding up some of y'all's, every single person who calls out Ashton Genty for having poor playing against poor players and having his stats, Dylan Sampson should be the number one on your Heisman watch. Easy. If that's what you're talking about, and clearly they shouldn't. But if you wanna come at Ashton Genty and say, oh, he's playing in the Mountain West and XYZ, he's only averaging 500 yards a game, dog. Then Dylan Sampson needs to be your guy. He comes up big in every single game for Tennessee. 100-plus yard games. Here, 139, 5.3 average, 2 touchdowns. The entire soul of this offense, and do not let me leave out Deshaun Bishop because he gets it done as well. Nico decided that his arm, he couldn't trust his arm, so he got busy on the ground too for 44 yards and 9 carries. And let me talk about Nico. You talk about another player that in the preseason I had a lot of high hopes for. And again, 6-1, number 11 team in the nation, probably going to be number 7th team in the nation after this AP poll. It's hard for me to say that this season isn't successful, but from an individual statistic standpoint, for the way that this offense was ranked coming out of those first 3 games, it just more and more, every time I got in front of this camera and told y'all, I was only talking about that run game. After week 3, it was, I don't know about Nico. Nico had a rough game. Nico was kind of lost. Started with the Oklahoma game. Go up against a big defense now. That's a real defense. Nico can't show up. Nico has a good play. Nico has a few good plays now. But Nico can't show up consistently. They get the job done. It is what it is. And then we get into this one, and I'm just talking the misses from Nico. It's different if we're not making the best decisions, if we're inconsistent. He was missing. He was overthrowing. It just seemed like it wasn't like he was out of a rhythm. It seemed like he didn't know where he was going with the ball. I don't know if he's dyslexic. I don't know. It feels very, very Jameis Winston-y. I have no idea. I'm not gonna go that far. Not too much on my man Jameis, but. No, man, just very, very underwhelming. 14 for 27, 194, 7.2 average. 1 touchdown, didn't take care of the ball well with 2 interceptions. Shout out to my man Gaston Moore. 1 pass, 1 interception. That's legendary. What does this mean for each of these teams, man? Looking out to the rest of Alabama's schedule, you got Missouri coming off of a big win. Mr. Cook, I need to make an individual video about that. That dude, destroyed his knee, went to the hospital, and then went back into the game and won. That's crazy. And by the way, Auburn, y'all should just retire from the SEC. It's over for y'all. It's cooked. Then you got LSU, who's looking like a bit of a wagon. Then you got Mercer, Oklahoma, and Auburn. Of course, the Iron Bowl at the end of the game. If they win out, sadly, they could be in good situation to sneak into the playoffs. Hypothetically, if Missouri just had a good win, hypothetically, if LSU wins tonight, let's say Oklahoma cleans some things up, and there's no saving Auburn. I don't know to tell you, but sadly, because they are Alabama, sadly because they're in the ACC and the SEC, it looks like they can irk something out. Now, besides this Tennessee defense and this elite Tennessee running game, I don't believe a lot in Tennessee. I guess that's not really saying a lot because there's a lot. That Georgia game is going to be something, especially after this Texas game. I think it's gonna even mean more. But you got Kentucky, who's a really good defense. You got Mississippi State, who's bottom of the barrel of the SEC. Georgia, which is going to be that game. UTEP, which should be easy. And Vanderbilt, you better not let Vandy come up out. Hey, that's at Vandy, son. Don't let them tear 2 pairs of goalposts down on you, all right? Because that's going to be very, very embarrassing, man. Very, very embarrassing. Let's get into some of these. Let me just see how. Okay, yeah, y'all want to talk about this? First off, real Big Ten football from both of these offenses. Just a high fun. This for the first half, it wasn't the most fun game. It wasn't the most exhilarating game. I'm not gonna lie to you. I gotta be honest with you. And by the way, the Texas Georgia game just started while I'm recording this video. Something had to happen there. But no, in all seriousness, in all realness here, what's it called? Yeah, man. Feel bad, dog. Look, man, the holding, the refs, even though they were pretty terrible, that's not the reason why y'all lost. That's not the reason why Alabama got mopped up, man. I'm sorry, but I do want to talk about this fake injury, which was absolutely hilarious. Let's break this down field by field. He's coming off. So what happened was they were trying to get a substitution. They let Tennessee get a substitution off. Alabama didn't get a substitution off. Homie is just standing like halfway on the field or not on the field. Is he on the field or not on the field? He pushed him back at and just slip on a banana peel real quick. Oh, that's a hold. And while he just dropped that. All right, let me wrap this video up. There's football going on. Sorry, he dropped a wide open pass. Hook 'em horns. Let me watch this game. Alabama, you're cooked. Tennessee, you're cooked. Even though, y'all got to win and Sampson is that guy. Y'all be phenomenal. Y'all be amazing. Leave a like this if you like it. Dislike if you don't like it. Get down in the comments. Tell me what Tennessee season is going to look like at the end. Tell me what Alabama season is going to look like in the end. Subscribe if you want to watch more college football content. I got to watch this Georgia-Texas game, man. I'll see you, man.